Hello and welcome. If you truly want to improve your English step by step and finally reach a level where English feels natural instead of stressful, then this video is going to be extremely valuable for you. Because in this video, I'm not just going to give you random tips or quick tricks, I'm going to share with you a clear, logical, and proven study system that focuses on how your brain actually learns a language. Many people study English for years, but they still feel stuck. They know grammar rules, they recognize many words, but when it comes to understanding spoken English or reading smoothly, everything suddenly becomes difficult. The reason for this is very simple. They consume English is the wrong order. So today, I want to show you a 4-step listening and reading method that you can use every single day without stress, without pressure, and without feeling overwhelmed. If you follow this method consistently, your listening and reading skills will improve naturally, and as a result, your speaking will also become much easier over time. Now, let's slowly and clearly talk about how this system works. Before we begin, a very important rule. Before we even talk about step 1, there is one rule you must understand and accept. You do not need to understand everything at the beginning. In fact, if you understand everything from the start, the material is probably too easy for you and you're not challenging your brain enough. Confusion is not a problem, confusion is a sign that learning is happening. Once you accept this idea, this entire method becomes much more effective and much more enjoyable. Step 1. Pure listening without any text. Now let's talk about the first step, which is one of the most important parts of the system. First, you need to choose an English text that is appropriate for your level. This text can be a short story, a dialogue, a podcast episode, or even a YouTube video, as long as it also has an audio version and preferably a transcript. The level does not need to be perfect. It can be A1, A2, or B1, or even B2. What really matters is that the content is understandable to some degree, even if it feels difficult. Now, here is what I want you to do. You take the audio of this text, and without looking at the written version at all, you listen to it 3 to 5 times. No subtitles, no transcript, no pausing every few seconds. At this stage, your only job is to listen and focus on the sounds. During this step, your brain is learning the rhythm of English, the way words connect to each other, and how sentences flow naturally in real speech. You're training your ears, and ear training always comes before real understanding. Step 2. Listening while following the text. Once you finish step 1, you move on to step 2. In this step, you will listen to the same audio again, but this time, you will also follow the transcript at the same time. If your text comes from a YouTube video, this step becomes even more powerful because now you're listening, reading, and watching the speaker's mouth and facial expressions at the same time. This step is where many important realizations happen. You start noticing things like how certain words are reduced or connected in fast speech, how some words sound very different from how they're written, how native speakers don't pronounce every word clearly and separately. Your brain begins to match sound with spelling, and this connection is extremely important for both listening and reading fluency. Take your time in this step. Pause when necessary. Go back and reply difficult sentences. This is not passive listening anymore. This is active comprehension. Step 3. Deep work with the written text. Now we come to step 3, which is the most detailed and analytical part of the system. At this stage, you completely put the audio aside, focus only on the written text. This is where you slow down and really study the language. You carefully check new words you don't know, phrases that feel unfamiliar, grammar structures that confuse you. You look up meanings, but more importantly, you try to understand how words are used inside real sentences, not in isolation. One very important thing I strongly recommend in this step is reading the text out loud. Reading aloud forces your brain and mouth to work together. It improves pronunciation, it builds speaking confidence, and it makes the language feel more natural in your mouth. In this step, your goal is very clear. You do not move on until you understand the text completely and confidently. This may take time, of course, and that is perfectly okay. Step 4. Final listening with full understanding. Now we arrive at the final step, and this is where everything comes together. You return to the audio again, and just like you did in step 1. But this time you do not look at the text at all. You simply listen. Once again, listen 3 to 5 times, preferably with headphones, and focus on understanding the full meaning without any visual help. This step is incredibly motivating because you will clearly notice that difference. In the beginning, you may have understood only 20 or 30%. Now, after working through the text carefully, you will suddenly realize that you understand almost everything. This is the moment where your confidence grows and your brain starts trusting your English skills. How often should you use this method? You don't need to do this with many texts every day. One short text per day is more than enough. Even 3 or 4 texts per week can create serious improvement if you are consistent. This method works because it respects how your brain naturally learns a language. First through sound, then through clarity, and finally through repetition. Why this method actually works? The reason this system is so effective is simple. Fluent English speakers became fluent by listening a lot, reading a lot, and understanding deeply. This method allows you to do exactly that, but in a structured and stress-free way. If you stay patient, trust the process, and apply this 4-step system regularly, you will notice real changes in your English, especially in your listening and reading skills. And once listening and reading become easier, speaking will follow naturally. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who is also learning English. I'll see you in the next lesson. Take care and keep learning.